Jason and I have a pretty special love story that started over 10 years ago.
One day, we decided to go to dinner with some friends, and I had at that point in my life decided I was going to move to Egypt. I had reached a point in my kind of professional and personal life where I was at a good point to go do some traveling, and had decided to basically sell everything I had and move on to explore the world through travel. And I asked her over dinner to go with me.
When Jason first asked me to go to Egypt with him, frankly, I laughed. It sounded like just something that would only ever happen in a fairy tale. But as the months went by, the stars aligned, and the next thing I knew, I was selling everything I had and buying a one-way trip to Cairo.
When you're traveling and living with somebody day to day and see them all the time and are sharing small little hostel rooms in no-name towns in the middle of the desert, and realize that you still like each other after that amount of time, and not only that you look forward to seeing each other, it's something pretty special. And we had a relationship that was forged in the sands of the Middle East, on the road, with $1 rooms and 50-cent meals, and it's something pretty special. Asked her to marry me in the sands of the Sahara overlooking the pyramids, and we came back to the States to get married. And it's been together now for almost a decade, and I love her more today than I did back then.
Our road to starting the adoption process was a long one, but it was also a natural one. Jason and I, after getting married, were pretty eager to start a family, and we were lucky in the sense that we got pregnant right away, and unfortunately I miscarried almost at the end of our first trimester, and it was devastating for both of us, emotionally and spiritually and physically. I'd be lying if I said that we weren't a little sad when it became clear to us that we weren't going to be biological parents. But the truth is that sadness didn't last long.
Tiff and I have always talked about wanting to build our family through adoption. My dad's adopted, my aunt's adopted. Adoption is a huge part of our family culture.
For me, I had pretty much spent my whole adult life caring for other people's kids, and I knew with my whole heart that you don't have to have a blood connection to truly love a child.
Once we made the decision to adopt, we jumped in with both feet. We found that agency that we loved and that we can work with to help build that family that we really want. And our hope is to adopt a baby and have that forever kid come into our lives and build that family that we want. But until that point, until that happens, we are opening our home up to fostering infants, and that's an adventure that we're really excited to take.
In addition to working with our agency towards the option of private adoption, we're also pretty far down the path of getting our foster license. So on the surface, that looks like a mountain of paperwork and a giant checklist of, little things to get done around the house to make our home kid safe. But at the heart of it, it's us getting ready to bring our baby home.
My wife is the most beautiful, caring, generous, hilarious, smart, giving, big-hearted person I've ever met in my life.
Wow. The end, period.
I used to say that, having my wife as a co-parent would be like having Ken Griffey Jr. on your baseball team. She's a superstar. She's one of those that you look at and you would hope to someday measure up to, even if it's unrealistic, because of how fantastic she is with kids. And if at the end of the day I can say, wow, I did it close to as well as she does, then I'll be satisfied.
When I think of Jason as a dad, my heart swells. I remember this one conversation I had with him that will stick with me for the rest of my life. We were newly together. We were still in Egypt. And we were having one of our conversations about our dreams for the future, and we were on the topic of parenthood. Jason was telling me about who he wanted to be as a dad and how he couldn't wait to have kids, and it was really touching and heartwarming. And as he was telling me this, I was thinking about my childhood and how I grew up without a dad, and I think as a lot of kids who grow up with an absentee parent can attest to, I spent a good amount of time fantasizing about that dad in shining armor, right? Especially during those tough teenage years. I fantasized about this dad in shining armor who was fearless and smart and a mentor, and who would just love me to the moon and back. And while my fantasy never became a reality, what I realized in that conversation with Jason was that everything that I had pictured in wanting for myself and a dad, that my kids were going to experience that. My kids are going to know what having a dad is like and is what it's supposed to be. Jason will love those kids to the moon and back, to the moon and back. And he will be that mentor and coach and go-to and guru and safe place to fall. He's just going to be the best. For us, pursuing adoption is more than just fulfilling a desire to become parents or to help a child or children in need. It's a calling. It's bigger than we are. And it's scary. We know that we couldn't do this without the love and support of our amazing friends and family, and we wouldn't want to.
And hey! Got any gently used baby stuff hanging out in your basement that you want to part with? We're willing to take it off your hands.